Hello everybody and welcome back to Full House Sports here, myself Charlie. A reminder before the video starts to please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Now, unless you've been living under a rock in planet internet this week, you will have seen that the YouTuber, boxer, I don't really want to use that one, boxing promoter, let's go with, and I would say rapper, musician, let's say, KSI has bought a minority share in Dagenham and Redbridge of the National League South. He, alongside former Premier League striker Andy Carroll, have both taken shares in the club, which means that Dagenham and Redbridge has now got new eyes on it. And they capped off what has been an incredible week for them by beating National League South leaders Dorking, who themselves of internet fame, of course, with their gaffer Mark White, and have had their own series on YouTube, by beating them 1-0 in front of a higher than usual attendance, I think it's fair to say, at Dagenham's Ground Victoria Road. Now, I think what interested me about this story is, without hopping on, I'm not hopping on a trend to try and beg KSI what's going on or try and ask him for interviews, but I think it's an interesting trend that's growing in English football and something that we've probably seen these last few years, but again is now starting to come up again, which is the increase in celebrities and influencers, which is a word I despise, but buying shares in football clubs. Now, the obvious leaders of the pack, and one that everyone springs to mind, is Wrexham with Rob Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, which is definitely a venture that has been hugely successful. Of course, they're now in the Championship. We saw them at the weekend go close against Chelsea in the FA Cup. They were unlucky, some would argue, in that game. Of course, George Dobson getting sent off. And there are other examples as well, of course. Birmingham with Tom Brady, of course. And it's something that, again, I think is an interesting development in the English game, because a lot of clubs now, whereas it used to be you look to the Middle East for a takeover, now it seems to be you're looking to America, and more specifically Hollywood, for a takeover. You know, KSI has spoken about wanting to take Dagenham and Redbridge to the Premier League. I don't think he'll do that realistically, but then I was probably in the group that said that about Wrexham and said, oh, they won't be able to do that. And it looks like they're going to go close, certainly this year anyway. So I do think that it's something that is going to, is going to keep developing. And it's obvious why a lot of people ask why, because I think Simon Jordan said it himself, as he's someone who speaks quite a lot, an ex-club owner. He said it a lot himself about, you're never going to make money off a football club unless you asset strip it, which, you know, often involves you selling the ground or doing whatever else. But it's an interesting, because obviously a lot of these celebrities are probably using these clubs, I wouldn't say for more exposure, but probably a little bit for brand exposure, certainly brand improvement. There's also the element of, you know, you might get your own reality TV show in terms of, you know, you're taking over a club and you're trying to build it from the bottom up, and it gives you that show and people will watch it and you give yourselves exposure. For the clubs, it makes financial sense as well, because people will start taking notice. Certainly people start taking notice of Wrexham. People will start taking notice of Dagenham. People start taking notice of Birmingham. Swansea, for example, had a record attendance the other week for Snoop Dogg being there. It's something that's fascinating, because where does it stop? And also, all these celebrities can't get their teams to the Premier League. What I think I'm trying to get at is what happens if one of these goes wrong? Could one of these go wrong? Because for all the good that they do, there is the capability of it not working, and then you have this brand damage. So there's a lot on the line for both the celebrities and the football clubs. It also, I think, shows the appeal of the English football pyramid, because we have the strongest pyramid in global football without a shadow of a doubt. And it shows that because these celebrities are buying clubs in the lower leagues with the hope of getting to the Premier League. And that is, again, a real sort of rubber stamping of the strength of our league. But like I say, it's something to keep an eye on. Dagenham and Redbridge will be someone to keep an eye on in the future, definitely, because if things go well, then people will start to probably do what they did with Wrexham and either jump on the bandwagon or jump on the hate, whichever one. But we'll have to wait and see. As always, guys, let us know what you think. Please like, comment and subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated as I try and become a one-man sports news bandwagon. Have a great day.